Welcome back everyone for the second week of our vlog series as we build our 3D printing business here at home. So we're picking up where we left off and we got some more of the blob skeletons and blob rocks to finish off. The goal right now is to try to get like 1 or 2 of all these models printed, make sure that they stand up to the quality that I would prefer in order to sell, then get some photos done, get some listings made, and try to test out some sales. Since we're paying for these Patreon subscriptions, we want to make sure that they're actually worth it. So yeah, the goal right now is just to get a stockpile going of kind of like 1 or 2 of every model and hope that we can get some sales going and justify our means to keep the subscriptions going. So we do still have some parts to print for the blob rocks and the blob skeletons, and then our finished stuff we got so far are sitting over here in these 2 bins to keep them separated, to keep us on track. So our next print coming up here on the V2 is the Blob Lab Skeleton Sith for the Grim Reaper. It is a slight multicolored print. It's got like a couple layers of gray on the back side of the handles. Figure we'll just throw that up on here. So we did add these whiteboards to the room here that are new. I just want to kind of keep track of the different prints that need to get going so we can finish some actual products and filament that we're running out of or running short on that we need to reorder. I'm just hoping that this kind of helps me stay on track and not let anything slip through the cracks. On the A1 Mini here, printing some Blob Ross hair pieces. So it's going to be a little blob rock with Bob Ross hair. So yeah, so that'll be pretty cool looking. But these are the prints we're going to run throughout the night. It's almost bedtime. Put some more cabs down there on the V1. And yeah, we'll just check in the morning and kind of see how these all turned out. Well, it's the next morning. We're checking in on the A1 Mini. And the Blob Ross hair pieces are done, but it does look like one of these supports kind of slid out and left a little bit of a stringy mess underneath here, but it might be fixable though. I think I could probably clip some of that off and use the torch and finish that off. And this one looks like the support stayed, so this one turned out good, so we'll be able to match these up and make sure they look good. And the filament we used for these is the Bamboo Lab, I believe it's the Galaxy Brown. It's got a really nice shimmer to it and a really nice deep brown color, so we're hoping to match that fro right there. And I think it'll look good. I think it matches pretty good. And those just finished up 2 last night. Already cleared that plate off. And now what fun would it be to have a 3D printer and not print anything for ourselves? So my wife has me printing an Aphrodite statue out of this color changing rose colored filament. And the Abyssal Red is the color that we're using on those new cabs, which are beautiful. And we need to throw something over here on the V2, so check the board here to see what we can work on. I think it'd probably be best to do the blob rock eyes since I got so many waiting on them. And we got to do a black plate and then a white plate for the inserts. So yep, it's going to be the blob rock eyes today. And we're just checking back in on the prints here, see how everything's going. The statue looks like it's doing really nice. This is going to be for an altar in the bathroom dedicated to Aphrodite. And still got about 3 hours or so. And then we got a few sets of our eyes going here on the V2. And we got the cabs going down here. Got a little bit of time left on this set, and then we'll start a new set after that. Just a quick check-in here, and it looks like the statue's going from the light pink to the dark pink, and I'm digging the filament. It looks pretty nice. And just got the other 2 printers running too. And now we got some of the little geode pieces going for the blob rock, and this is a color changing filament. I'll probably get a more consistent colored translucent filament for that. And those are going still. And we're doing a couple of the cap tops for the blob mushroom that we got. So we're going to be doing that in some red. And yeah, we're trying to get these things lined out a little more organized here so it makes sense. Added a few more of the finished blob skeletons in the bin here. So now we got those done. And we've been able to mark quite a few things off of our board, so that feels great. And our photo booth is getting filled up. We added this little skeleton bear that I printed a while ago. We got the full size and 75% size skeletons, and a few of our blob rocks are ready to go. Printed the blob rock prehistoric box, or pet crate. Might try another one. I wasn't happy with how the color changed, so gonna do another one of those here soon. The shed we ordered has arrived in 2 boxes. So we'll be able to start working on this here soon. Gotta go get the lumber for the base, and then yeah, maybe I'll have a little helper help me out. Say hi to Luna, everybody. Alright, looks like our mushroom caps are finished up. Looking pretty smooth. Looks a little orange on the camera, but it's a good bright red for the mushroom. And we're kicking off a little skeleton hoodie figure here. Got that rolling on the A1 Mini. And we got our Thunderbirds down there on the cabs. all the outside of the eyes are finished, just need the inserts now for those. And this guy's just about done. It's looking pretty good so far. The finish is really smooth, so I'm liking that part. Alright, our little hoodie figure is finished up. We'll let it cool off a little bit and we'll pull it off the plate and see how it turned out. We got one batch of the eye inserts done, and these cabs are rolling. Okay, let's peel this thing off the plate here and see how it turned out. Really smooth. That's one thing I really liked about it. I do see a little blemish on the hood there, but pretty smooth altogether. These lines could be better. So this is at a 0.2 layer height, so I think I'm gonna try a smaller layer height next. Alright, well, we went shopping and we picked up some props to help us with getting some better photography done for our product photos for our listings. Wanted to be able to do some lifestyle photos, kind of like how Etsy likes them. And we are doing kind of like fall Halloween themed prints right now, so hopefully this kind of help it stand out and kind of be more realistic on what a decoration could look like in your house. On the A1 Mini, we have the skull faces for the little hoodie figure we printed earlier. I chose this new green from Anycubic. Came with the V2, so we're gonna see if this makes a good, nice Halloween green color for us. And we're gonna work on some layered blob rocks here on this. It's gonna be a multicolor print, so figured we better do it on the V2. See how that works out for us. And we're just going on our next design here down below. Continuing on the same color. So here's our most recent prints here. I got the supports taken off of this guy. I do like the way it turned out, but these lines I could be happier with, so definitely gonna try the 0.12 layer height, I think, on this. It's supposed to be like an art toy, so I'm gonna be pretty much doing that layer height on all my art toys. And the skull faces go with the hoodie here. And then the mushroom caps are done, all cleaned up, nice and smooth, really good quality print. I'll be piecing all that together to put on that guy. And then we have to put our eyes together, put the whites inside, and then glue them in. Those guys will be alive after that. And then we're gonna assemble the camera mounts and the cameras later. Got a bunch of designs finished with that, and still working on building our little bin full. And we're just gonna keep adding to our little lineup for photos, get everybody ready. And we're just gonna go ahead and let all these prints go and go work outside for a little bit. All right, I was able to lay out the footprint here for our shed. Just gotta level the blocks out, and we're gonna be getting this up high next up to the deck there and attaching it to the deck. So while I was outside working, came in, saw this heap of a spaghetti mess. Looks like something flew off the plate and hit the other one off, and you know how it goes. So yeah, so I think we'll again be still breaking this plate in. I don't have issues every print, but it's here and there right now, so trying to minimize that. But we'll clean that plate off really good again. And then here's the little sneaker foot parts to the hoodie skeleton figure. And this was printed in the purple that came with that V2 kit or pack of colors. I'm pretty happy with that purple too, it's nice. So those will be the feet shoes or whatever that go onto that figure. And those ones are done down there. All right, so task of the day is getting this camera mount all put together, slapped up onto the machines here. They go right under the chassis, kind of where you see that hole and that slit by the orange cable. Same on both machines, so we'll be putting those together and installing those on the machines today. And these have all been photoed, so everything in this bin is now photoed. We'll build our listings and get stuff listed before the end of this weekend. And barely have anything left to print, kind of cleared this all out. So we'll do a reset on this board for next week and get some new stuff lined out. And we were able to order a few different colors of filament, so got those ordered, and I got one thing fully listed and active so far. But we'll be working on more before the week's over. Okay, it's finally assembly time on these guys. So this is our cable and our screw. The screw is going to mount it onto the machine. And then the cable here has one USB end that's going to go into the left port on the printer, and then the little plug here goes into the pins on the back side of the camera here. Alright, and then there is two little LED lights there for the camera light. And we got a little plug on here, camera lens. under that. And this just kind of sits right inside of the housing that we printed. So you just kind of set it down inside of here. And there's only really one direction for it to go, and it just kind of sits flush here with the underside of the mount. It doesn't really snap in or anything, but you just want to make sure it's just laying nice and flat in there. And that looks pretty good. Since we got two to install here, I'm going to go ahead and get this one kind of caught up to where we have the other one. Try and just kind of do them both at the same time. So again, take the cap off the lens and just kind of set it into the housing here. Again, just try to be careful not to damage the lens and the LED lights there. So our next step will be to get the cable connected to the back side here. And the pins are really tiny, so you definitely want to be careful not to damage them while you're plugging them in. So I try to kind of line them up and push them in there kind of gently. And then this plate here fits over the little notches there and clicks in and kind of makes sure that the camera stays in place. It doesn't jiggle around while the printer is going. I did skip a step here. You're supposed to kind of weave the cable inside of the housing, and then that little plug on the end there is going to be sitting kind of between the plate and the housing. I do it correctly on the second one, so we'll definitely be fixing this one. But yeah, that's pretty much all you have to do to assemble these little things. It doesn't come with directions, so I kind of just like winged it the first one. I learned on the second one what actually needs to be done. So yeah, you'll get to see the right way on the next one. I did look up on Anycubic's website kind of like how to connect it to the machine, and it did say specifically left port only on the USB ports to plug in the camera. So got to make sure you plug it in on the left port only, and it's just one cord, and I like to slide it under the machine a little bit so it's not getting pinched, but just so that it kind of stays out of my way, keeps everything a little bit cleaner looking. Okay, so on the mounting end here we have a little pin here that sticks out and the hole for the screw, and the little pin just kind of slits in the slot there next to the screw hole, keeps it kind of lined up and in position, and then we'll screw it in from the back side. So I'm just kind of fitting it in, making sure it lines up good, and the mount that I printed was the right size and everything, and yeah, it looks like it's at the right angle there. And it should capture anything printing on the plate here. The final piece we have left is the screw here. It's a self-tapping screw, so it should be able to screw into the back of the mount that we printed pretty easily. So I kind of turned the printer sideways so I could kind of get a better view. It is a little bit hard to get your screwdriver into the position to screw the screw in, so that was a little bit tricky, but we finally got it. Okay, it's in place. Everything looks good. It's nice and sturdy in there. But this is where I kind of started realizing that cable didn't exactly look right. It clearly had like a little gasket type piece on it that would fit in between the back plate of the housing and the housing, so this was me realizing that I needed to fix that. So you just gotta be careful to kind of coil the wire up inside of the housing so it can lay flat. And then there's this little groove that the little gasket part fits into. So this is how it's supposed to look before the back plate goes on. And then this is just gonna kind of snap back in there. Make sure you're not kind of pinching any wires while you put that back on. Okay, we officially have one fully installed. It's in there snug. Just kind of slide these cables out of the way and we'll move on to the next. Okay, we got the second one fully assembled, and this is what it's supposed to look like. And still the same install type. Got the pin there and the hole right there. And now we can get this one installed too. So on the second one, I realized it was a little bit easier if I went ahead and just put the screw in through the hole on the back side before I lined this up. And then when I line this up and push it into the pin slot there, you can kind of feel the screw push into the plastic. And with that little bit of pressure, it kind of holds it in place. Made it a little bit easier. So now that everything's hooked up on both the printers, we just gotta turn them on and get these things tested to make sure that they sync up together. And now we're looking up in the upper right corner and we want to see a little camera icon. And we do see one up there next to the little cloud. So we'll go to our settings here, find our camera. We do have a camera light option here, so it looks like it's on and it's clearly on, so that's good. So we'll see if it communicates, and we'll turn this off and the light's off. Great. So yeah, that's pretty much the only test you need to make, besides, you know, when you check your computer to make sure you can see the prints going when they're on. But this one looks like it synced up just fine, and we'll test the other one. Okay, camera icon is there. Perfect. Now we can double check our printer settings. The light is on, came on when I turned the power on. So we'll just test it to see if we can turn it off, and it turns off. Perfect. All right, well, this wraps up our week. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, all the new subscribers and everybody commenting and liking. I'm super appreciative of all you guys. Tune in next week to see what else we got going on. Here's a little snippet of how far we got this week on this guy. So yeah, like and subscribe and hang out for more. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.